peregrine falcon. He's got similar coloration too, but he's not quite a peregrine falcon. Yeah, do you have a guess? He is a kind of hawk, exactly. So, a lot of hawks, they are named after specific characteristics. Do you have a specific guess, my friend in the red shirt? Ooh, another good guess. Do you see red on his tail? Not quite. So, like I was saying, hawks, they are often named after physical characteristics that they have. And so red-tailed hawks have red on their tails. This guy does not have any red on his tail. Rough-legged hawks have feathers that go all the way down to their feet. They're very rough legs. Does this guy have rough legs? Not quite. But this bird does have very short, broad wings. What do you think you might call them if you were naming hawks?
Short, broad-winged hawk.
A broad-winged hawk. I like the specifics there. This is a broad-winged hawk. Fun fact, he is actually the silhouette of the Vince logo. So you can see on the front of the tablecloth what a broad-winged hawk silhouette looks like. They have those short, broad wings that allow them to fly through the forests. They are forest dwellers. He is a raptor. His eyesight is so keen, like I said, he can see incredible detail from super far away. If he were perched on top of a pine tree and he were looking down, he could see the twitch of a mouse's whisker as it was deciding which way to go. Now, also very important is where his eyes are on his head. Are his eyes on the side of his head like a deer? No. Are they on top of his head like a frog? Are they on the back of his head like a parent or a teacher? Not quite. Where are they? They are right in front. Eyes in the front, born to hunt, is what we say in the animal world. Eyes in the side, born to hide. So, those forward-facing eyes give them a range of benefits, including something called binocular vision, which is something that you also have, and so does the person sitting right behind you, because you have forward-facing eyes as well. If you want to give Northfield here a quick thumbs up, tell him he's doing a fantastic job. And with that one thumb up, close one of your eyes or cover it with your other hand. Move your thumb so that you're blocking Northfield from view. And when you've successfully done that, switch eyes while holding your thumb in place. You can see him again. Well, I can tell you that he is not teleported. What's happening is each of your eyes is a slightly different image, and your brain is stitching them together. That way, you can tell how far away he is from you. You have depth perception. That is very important for a hawk that needs to judge how far away the ground is before he slams into it. So, forward-facing eyes is the first characteristic that makes him a raptor. The second is how he's going to catch his prey after he's spotted it. How do you think he's going to catch it? In the green shirt, yeah, back. Yes, you.
Flying down and catching it with his claws.
With his claws, exactly. In the bird world, we have a special name for bird claws. They are called talons. People who study mammals, they said, nope, the word claw only refers to what's on the end of a mammal's toe. So for birds, we call them talons. His talons are super, super sharp and very strong as well. And he uses those to catch his prey. Next, he's going to eat his prey. If it's something like a mouse, he might be able to swallow it whole. But if it's something a bit bigger, like a small rabbit, or perhaps a snake or something, he might need to tear it into smaller pieces. How do you think he's going to do that? Yeah, in the hat, Spider-Man sweater. With his claws. He's going to definitely use his claws, but he'll use another tool that he has. Yeah. His beak. He has a curved, hooked beak. Those are the three things that make a raptor a raptor. They have forward-facing eyes, sharp talons, and a hooked beak. That's it. Those are the things that make him a raptor. There's a couple more things that's true about a lot of raptors. For instance, the females are larger than the males. That's because they're the ones that do all the hard work. They're the ones that have to lay the eggs. They have to hatch the egg, they have to defend the nest. So they can often be almost twice as big as their male counterparts. Northfield here, his story is, one day a hiker was wandering around in Northfield, Vermont, and they looked down unfortunately, he had fallen a really long way. Broad-winged hawks, their nests are all the way up to the top of pine trees, so up to 80 feet high. So way too high for this hiker to put him back, so they called us at Vince, and they were able to take him down to us. We got a nice checkup, and we found that he had broken his shoulder. Unfortunately, bird bones are hollow, and they're very fragile. Pneumaticized is the fancy word. It's one of the things that allows them to fly. This bird right here only weighs about a pound and a half or so. So he's very light, but since his bones are so fragile, when they shattered, he wasn't able to quite kill him in the exact right position. He can fly no further than about 10 feet or so, and he makes really hard to the right as he's flying. Which is unfortunate because these hawks are known for a massive migration. Who here knows what the word migration means? Yeah. Yes, so an example of migration is animals moving south from warmer areas. It's not just for warmth or the cold that would inspire them to move. Some things becomes really hard to find to get through the winter time. What do you think that is? Yeah. Yeah, food. Yes, exactly. Food becomes really scarce. And this guy isn't the biggest hawk in the world, certainly not in Vermont. There's a lot of other hawks or owls that are bigger than him that are going to be a little bit better at catching those mice when they scurry under the snow. So these guys, they gather in groups called kettles. And this is around the time of year when they start getting ready to migrate. They travel up to 3,000 miles just in one direction. They go all the way down to Colombia, South America. They follow the ridge lines of mountains, and they go the coastline. They get lifted up into the air by the warm thermals, the warm air coming up from the land. They kind of catch those escalators, spiraling all the way up, and when the air gets too cool up at the top, they coast right back down and spiral all the way back up again. And sometimes the juveniles on their very first migration, they get stuck in Florida because they forget to turn right in Georgia. Then they get to the Keys and they think, well, I guess I've made it, guys, congrats. But usually the next year they'll learn to follow the rest of the kettle, and they make it all the way down there. It seems that every single broad-winged hawk flies over those narrow Central American countries. So folks and researchers will gather in countries like Panama in order to count the broad-winged hawks that fly overhead, and they number in the thousands. All right, Northfield here has done an amazing job being an education ambassador for you guys here. I'm going to go ahead and put them away. I see you guys have a lot of questions. So, give me one extra second. It's okay. Folks, would you be able to stay still just for one quick second more? I ask that you don't travel behind me as I have the bird out. It makes it a little extra antsy. Forward. Sometimes the crate is a really nice and cozy place to be, and other times he's like, there's too many eyes on me. I'll hang out a little while longer. But I can answer some questions while things are hanging out. Yeah, you have a question? We are not going to be able to pet him. He is very sharp. He's very strong. He's also still a wild bird. Yes, he lives here at Ben's, but he is not a pet. He is simply an ambassador. There's a reason why this glove that I'm wearing is 4 layers thick of goatskin leather. So we're not going to pet him. We're just going to admire the pretty bird from afar. Yeah, what's your question? In the red shirt. Northfield himself can only fly about 10 feet or so, and he's not very great at directions. If he were to spread his wings out, you would see that one side dips lower than the other. It didn't quite feel in the right position. So when he does fly, he kind of circles to the right as he's going. So maybe about 10 feet or so, but not super far. Exactly, yes. Oh yeah, what's your question, my friend? Yeah, so this is his equipment. On his ankles, you can see these pieces of leather. Those are his anklets. Hanging from his anklets are called jesses. And at the ends of his jesses is two little holes where I hook the metal leash. And then the leash is wrapped around my fingers just so that it's a little extra secure, it's not dangling. And then it's clipped to my glove. This is just an extra security measure, just in case he wants, that moment when you saw him, he kind of flew off. He ran in, grabbed the food, and was like, I'm going to eat this out there, and tried to turn around and fly off. But unfortunately, for his safety and for our safety as well, since if he were completely unattached and he wanted to try and go off, he wouldn't be able to make it very far because of his injuries. So this is just an extra element of security. And I wrap it around my fingers just to avoid it dangling like this. I'm going to see if he's interested in crating again. There we go. All right, folks, here are free to readjust the benches and grab some extra seating. Thank you guys for being patient and waiting a hot second. These birds, a lot of the times, they are experts at their job, and sometimes they encounter things that they have never seen before, like strollers. They think, what is that? Or umbrellas. That's a common enemy of them. They don't like umbrellas. Moving tables. I don't think they've ever seen that before. Sometimes at special event days at Vince, we'll dress up, but we can't wear dresses or skirts because there's some birds that will stare at us and be like, where did your legs go? Where did your legs go? Who are you? They just don't recognize us. You see, you have a question. He is pretty okay about they're not his favorite thing in the world. I'll tell you what Northfield's least favorite thing in the whole world is. It's Chris. Specifically, a man named Chris that works at Vince. Why he hates Chris? We're not sure. Chris has never had a negative interaction with Northfield ever. We just know that anytime Northfield sees Chris works on the maintenance department, for one thing. He doesn't even work with the birds. But Northfield sees Chris across the yard and his whole day through. He's like, that's it. He's going to be very upset about it for the rest of the day. So Chris is his mortal enemy. But after a while, other Broadway hawks might be his enemy. They can sometimes get pretty rough with each other, especially with siblings in the nests. Or other bigger hawks, or other bigger birds that try and go after them. Cooper's hawks sometimes, or great horned owls. Those are big predators of other smaller birds. I have a quick test to figure out the engine situation on my vision. I mentioned that Northfield's only about a pound and a half or so. I happen to know his high score on this grip strength measure right here. Who here thinks they can arm wrestle a pound and a half bird? Who wants to test? All right, I saw your hand, my friend. So, you're going to squeeze this white part as tight as you can go. Harder. And let go when you're ready. So catch your high score. All right. Nice. 32.4 pounds. Very nice. Very good. All right. I'm going to get you back here. Yep, that's the right part. As tight as you can go. And whenever you're ready, let go. Oops, turn it off. So strong. All right, one more time. That's just the warm-up run, right? And let go when you're ready. 71 pounds. Amazing. All right, I'm only going to ask one more person. Who has the strongest adult with them? They think. I see you. I see people pointing to you, sir. Well, you were put on the spot. All right, whenever you're ready, sir. 99.2 pounds. All right. If you guys want to see your high score after the show, you guys can come on up later. Unfortunately, Northfield here has you all beat. At only a pound and a half, he can squeeze out 100 to 150 pounds per square inch. So he has quite an incredible grip strength. All right. I'm going to bring out another one of our Raptor friends right here in just a second. We met someone that hunts during the day. Does anyone know the word for an animal that hunts at day? Any guesses? Adults in the room, any guesses? Yeah. That's probably not diurnal, exactly. So, next we're going to meet someone that is nocturnal. You beat me to it. Although maybe the most accurate word for them is one that's active most at dawn and dusk. Does anyone know that word? It's a fun one. Yeah.
Crepuscular.
Crepuscular. Isn't that a cool one? All right. Let's see how you feel today. He is an owl. He is a raptor. He looks very different from our first raptor. Does anyone remember what the first thing about being a raptor is? Yeah. Their talons. That's the second thing. That's how they catch their food. Yeah, in the hat back there. I see you pointing to it. You point at your eyes. Yes. Forward-facing eyes, sharp talons, and what's the last thing that makes it a raptor? Rainbow.
I think, well, it eats meat.
He does eat meat, and he tears into the smaller bits using what? His talons and, yeah, his beak. He has that curved hook beak. But as an owl, he has his raptor adaptations that are a little bit different. And they serve him for how and where and what he's going out to hunt. First of all, his eyes are humongous, right? Look at those guys. Each eye takes up a third of the space in his skull. That means that his eyeballs take up 2/3 of the real estate in that noggin of his. There's not much room for much else. But his eyes are so big and they're so sensitive to light. Owls have some of the best night vision in the entire animal kingdom. But he can hunt on a completely moonless night using another one of his 5 senses. Does anyone guess what that is? I see you pointing to it. It is his scurrying 75 feet away, or under 2 feet of snow. And his ears, can you see his ears, my friends? No. No? And yes, it's kind of a trick question. Those little tufts on the top of his head, they are called ear tufts, but that's a bad name for them. A better name for them is plumicorn. Because it sounds like pluming unicorn, and it kind of describes a little bit more what they are. They're not his ears, they help him camouflage. Who here knows what the word camouflage means? Yeah. Yes, yes.
It's like blending in and using out.
Yes. And looking at Decatur here, what do you think he's actually blending into?
Like trees.
Yes, bark, tree bark. He lives in a cavity, a little hole in a tree. Just like your teeth might sometimes have cavities, and you have to go to the dentist for it. Trees get cavities, and they're basically just holes that other things made. Maybe it was a woodpecker or a squirrel or just time made it wrong. So these guys like to move into those little holes in the trees, and they perch and they wait. They close their eyes and they use the camouflage in order to sneak up on their prey and to hide from predators. So when there's posted up in there, they can look out, they can listen for their prey. Their eyes, they can see in UV light. Something that glows under UV light. If you guys have ever gone mini golfing, have you guys seen it glows in the dark? That's what glows under UV light. Something else that glows under UV light is pee. And mice are notorious for not washing their hands after they use the bathroom. So this little guy, he might see a little mouse trail, mouse prints, little pea-soaked mouse hands that they lead all the way to the little mouse hole, and he might be able to sneak inside and grab himself a nice mouse dinner. Like I mentioned, he uses his eyes and his ears. Look at his ears. I got a little sidetracked by his ears. You can't see his ears. They are little holes inside of his head. But that little heart-shaped face that he has there, it's not just a fashion statement. It is an adorable little facial ruff or facial disc. So those feathers on his face are stiffer than the rest of his feathers on his body. They funnel sound to his ears. So that he can turn his head and listen. He needs to turn his head because what's something you notice about his eyes? They are stuck in place. No matter how many bad jokes I tell, he can't roll his eyes. But he can turn his head. If you feel your vertebrae, those are your bones in the back of your neck right here, you can count how many you have. As a mammal, you have 7 vertebrae in the back of your neck. All mammals do. How many vertebrae does a giraffe have, for instance? 7. Exactly. What about a mouse? How many vertebrae does a mouse have? 7. Yeah, there's a lot smaller than ours. But he has 14 vertebrae in his neck, which allows him to spin around. How far do you think he can spin his head around? Do you have a guess in the purple shirt, or do you have another question?
All the way.
All the way around is the myth. And you guys have been lied to. Don't worry, my friend. Plenty of people think that. But I'm here to tell you that if that happened in nature, his head would just pop off. If you ever see an owl's head spinning 360 degrees, call an exorcist. That's an example of demonic possession. He can spin 270 degrees around. So if he keeps his chest still, he can spin his head all the way to the back and over the other shoulder. So almost all the way. Like I mentioned earlier, he has these talons, these sharp talons. He is going to be out in the woods and hunting a lot of things out there. If he ever stumbles upon a predator, his #1 go-to move is to disguise himself. He's going to slick all those feathers down. He has independent control of all those feathers. He's going to stand up tall, smooth all those feathers down to his body, squint his eyes shut, stick up his plumicorns, and be a stick. And he's going to hope and pray that whatever's tracking him thinks that he's a stick. That's his shtick. Be the stick, believe in the stick. But if that doesn't work, he might inflate his feathers. He might puff up twice his size and trill that horrifying screech you're hearing now when he's begging for food. So that's his go-to move to avoid predators. things that he might like to eat out in the wild. A lot of insects and a lot of little rodents. Everyone loves to eat rodents, right guys? Just me? Oh, you? Ah, amazing. Yeah, we'll share a mouse later. I got plenty over here. So, I have Decatur here as an education ambassador because he's from Decatur, Illinois. He was born to two non-releasable screech owl parents. It was a red morph and a gray morph. They come in different colors. And you can sometimes find the different colors in different sections of their range. They're found all up and down the eastern coast. And the gray ones are more found up here in the north, where the redder ones are found further south. That's just simply one reason because it's easier to camouflage with trees with reddish bark further south. There's more trees with reddish bark down there. So he has a gray morph parent and a red morph parent. He looks very gray, but if he were to stretch himself out, you might be able to see the feathers on his legs. And they are pretty red, so we say he got his pants from his mom. So, he was born to become an education ambassador. And that's because these guys, even though they live all over the East Coast, they're very rare to see or hear. Anybody? Yeah. What was it like? Where did you see it? Yeah. People who I've talked to who've seen these guys in real life, they say it's like walking past a tree and the tree blinks at them. They're so good at camouflage. But he is an adorable reminder that even though an animal might live in your very yard, you might not even know it exists. But that doesn't mean that they're not there, and that doesn't mean that they're not worth protecting. So, this little guy is 3 years old, and he has done a fantastic job. I'm going to put him away. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, perfect. When they're babies, he is fully grown, if you can believe that. He's not going to get any bigger than that. When they're babies, I haven't seen a baby one myself. I want to say about, no, I'm not sure exactly. Pretty small, maybe about like that big. All right, we have a question. How heavy is he? Today he weighed about 150 grams, which is just a little bit more than a stick of butter. So, he's mostly feathers.
Is he the smallest owl?
He's not the smallest owl, definitely not. Not even the smallest owl in Vermont, no. The smallest owl is the elk owl. Those guys are extra. I have here a skull of a great horned owl, which is way bigger than a screech owl. And one thing you can see, what's one thing that you're noticing about this skull? The eyes are huge, right? So, that is the bone that holds the eyes in place. Since his eyes are so heavy, so big, the skull makes the hole in place. They're more like cans of soup shaped than eyeball shaped. Good question, my friend. Most of his body weight, the feathers, I would say, weigh more than the eyes. I'm not sure how much owl's eyes would weigh if you just pop them out and weigh them on the scale. I'm not sure exactly. But they definitely can still take up 2/3 of the space inside the skull. So, right? Birds are mostly feathers. Great horned owls, their grip strength, if they tested it with a grip strength measurement, 500 pounds. Does he have a question back there, sir?
Yeah, how long do they live?
So in the wild, they might live up until 3 or 4 would be really good for a wild screech owl age. In human care, we hope to have him around up until his early teens or so. Yeah. All right, you in the back, do you have a question, my friend?
Can owls turn their heads all the way around?
Can owls turn their heads all the way around? Not quite. 270 degrees. I see one more question back there, yes.
With raptors, some cultures have a way of training them for like hunting and so on. Can all raptors be trained, or and how do they train them?
That's a really good question. So he's asking about falconry, right? So falconry is an ancient sport, and it's building a relationship with a bird of prey birds are going out and hunting together. Some birds are more adapt to working with humans like that. Owls, very unpopular choices for falconry. At Vince, we like to say that owls are the cats of the bird world. And that's just because they're so little, there's a lot of things that are out to get them, and so they're very attuned to all the sights and sounds around them, very easily distracted, would not make a reliable hunting partner whatsoever. I believe sometimes folks in Woodstock, New England falconry, they have a barn owl on their team, not necessarily to go out and hunt with, but as an education ambassador. And maybe eagle owls will sometimes be used, but some birds do have a reputation of being better candidates for falconry than others. If you ever come visit Vince, you should come visit and see one of the shows that we do at either 11 or 3. That's where you'll be able to meet one of our Harris's hawks. And Harris's hawks are a top choice for falconry because they're the only socially hunted raptor in the world. They hunt in packs, and so they're really good candidates for falconry because they already know how to work with other things in order to hunt. So Harris's hawks are good. Red-tailed hawks, I believe, if you become a falconer in Vermont, are like the standard first bird that you're expected to start working with because they're very malleable. I was going to say, again, if owls are the cats, then red-tailed hawks are like the dogs of the bird world. Okay, I want to make sure we have enough time to meet our last guest before we're all set. I see you have a question, so I don't need to hear your question.
How strong is the bone that is the screech owl?
How strong is the screech owl? I'm not sure if anyone's ever complimented with grip strength of a screech owl. It's not would be as impressive as the Broadway hawk. I'm not sure if I can do but they're mostly going after things like mice or other small rodents or insects, maybe some frogs every once in a while. So, yeah, I'm not sure if anyone exactly measured a screech owl grip strength. Yeah. Purple shirt. What's your question, my friend?
Can you turn his head over around?
Didn't you ask me that earlier? What do you think? Yeah? Not quite. All right, I'm going to take out one more animal friend, and I've saved the most dangerous for last. This is a top killer in the raptor world. For every 10 things that he tries to hunt, he's going to catch 8 of them. He has an 80% success rate. So, don't scream when you see him, okay? Are you shaking in your boots yet? That is his baby call. He is begging for food. He is not a baby. He is 6 years old. He is an adult male. Any guesses what kind of bird he is? Yeah? Ooh, peregrine falcon's a really good guess. He is a member of the falcon family. Hello? I'm speaking here. Thank you. Oh. He is a member of the falcon family. He's not a peregrine falcon. Yeah. Kestrel. He is an American kestrel, indeed. So, he is a member of the falcon family. The peregrine falcon is his bigger cousin. Who can tell me why peregrine falcons are famous? Yeah.
They're the fastest animal.
They're the fastest animal on Earth. They have been clocked at speeds of 242 miles per hour. They go faster than their terminal velocity. Where they reach their speeds is when they're diving, what's called a stoop. So peregrine falcons, they will hover above their prey, about 3,000 feet above them. And then they're hunting primarily other birds. So So they will do a deep dive, they will propel themselves downward, and they will catch their prey at that speed. They're going so fast, they're throwing themselves down, not just falling. This guy hunts in a similar way, but because he's a lot smaller, he's going to go a little slower. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, I'm going to turn over here too. So, even though he is a little smaller, he hunts in a similar way. He is going to be out in the meadows and grasslands. What sort of things do you think he might like to eat? What do you think he might like to find in the meadow or grassland? Yeah. Frogs, bugs, yeah, frogs, bugs, mice. And there's another one, another kind of thing. Another kind of fast food that's going to fly through the air. Yeah. Okay. Kestrels, American kestrels, not so much, no. But he's also going to be hunting birds, other birds. So, he's going to be hovering over his prey, and he's going to dive in that scoop. He can reach speeds of 70 miles an hour. He can pass your car on the highway. This guy is our smallest bird ambassador at Vin's by weight. He weighs about 90 grams. That's, in reference, a stick of butter is around 115 grams. So he is way lighter and smaller than a stick of butter. But when he catches his prey, he's either going to wrap his long toes around it, or if it's something as big as, say, a mourning dove or a starling, he's going to ball up his talons and punch it out of the sky. Imagine getting punched by a stick of butter at 7 miles an hour. That would hurt. And if that doesn't work, then he's going to unleash his vampire fangs. Kind of. He has an extra notch in his beak called a toenail tooth. Again, with these things, ear tufts aren't ears, toenail tooths, they aren't teeth, but they are it's a little extra notch. He's going to fit that over the spinal cord, and he can snap the spinal cord, stunning and killing his prey. I mentioned that he has quite the killer streak. He has 80% success rate. The peregrine falcon, by contrast, he is going to miss 20. He's going to only catch 20% of his prey. So for every 10 birds the peregrine falcon tries to catch, he's going to miss 8 of them. Part of that is because birds are a lot faster and they're diving a lot further and farther. And also these guys are just very accurate killers. So I think they deserve to be feared and respected on as much as peregrine falcons. Like I mentioned, they live in grassland. They are found here in Vermont. And this incessant call he's making is maybe a little vain baby call, despite the fact that he is an adult male kestrel. Why is he making this call so loud that he is, who needs a microphone when you have Ferrisburg here? Ferrisburg was found in Ferrisburg, Vermont. We got some phone calls one day, and they all said the same thing. They said, there's a kestrel landing on my head, and it sounds like this. And we thought, that's weird. That's not normal kestrel behavior. So we found this guy, we checked him out, and we found that he's healthy, but he is imprinted. So, what does that word mean? It means that, do you know what the word means? So you raise your hand. It's a complicated thing. I know what it means. It is hard to say. Yeah, don't worry about it. I get you. So, imprinted basically means that when maybe some nice robin here or there. They might think to themselves, if you're a kestrel, then I must be a kestrel. I'm going to grow up, I'm going to live in my own cabin in the woods, I'm going to hunt in meadows and grasslands, maybe raise my own chicks someday. But there's here, he looked up and he saw people feeding him food. And so he came to the very logical conclusion that if you were evil, he must be a person. He thinks he's a little human being. He thinks we're all just a bunch of humans hanging out together on this fine rainy day. He thinks he's going to grow up, he's going to go to school, learn to drive a car, get a job, 9 to 5, and pay taxes. And there's nothing we can do to convince him otherwise. So he became an educational ambassador. In a way, he did a very good job. And he does a very good job. That way he isn't screaming. There we go. Let's keep that one for a little bit. And he is now 6 years old. Does anyone have any questions about Harrisburg? Yes.
What do they sound like as adults?
Not that.
No. Can you imitate?
So he would make, there is a alarm call they would make called a Kelly call. It sounds like they're going, Kelly, 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 Kelly. So if you ever hear that call, that's their alarm call. That's what they're saying to say, like, oh, there's another bigger bird, it's going to eat us all. Yeah.
I think they're becoming quite rare.
Their populations are declining, yes. So they're a little bit harder to find out here in the Northeast, but sometimes you can still see them. If you're out and you're driving, you see a barn or a field and you're looking at the power lines and the fences, look for a bird that's about the size of a mourning dove, but has this much bigger head and a tail that bobs up and down as they're balancing. Maybe they're even holding something in their talons and eating it. Some other really cool things about him before I put him away. He and pro footballers have something in common. Do you see those black stripes under his eyes? Do you guys know why sports players put those under their eyes? Why? To block the sun. The dark colors help to absorb the color or the light of the sun. That's kind of what his stripes are doing. And they help him hunt out of the sunny grasses. He also has, if you look at the back of his head, bows of little jack-o'-lantern face. That is a pair of false eyeballs. So when a predator sees him and they want to try and eat him or go for him, they might see those spots in the back of his head and think, I can't go after that guy. He's already spotted me. And that would give Ferrisburg here a little bit extra time to realize he was being stalked and to fly away. All right, I'm going to put him away so I can hear myself think again.
Your number is dwindling down.
Yes.
Because I know in the past, my back failed. I saw them very often years ago. In recent years, I haven't seen them at all.
So, one second. There we go. He is loud. But, yes, the numbers are declining. We're not 100% sure why. One theory is habitat loss. Because they rely on open grasslands to hunt, and they rely on big, dead, standing trees to build their nests in. And humans, we don't always like to have big, dead, standing trees hanging around. They're called snags. And we're worried that they're going to fall on our tree, on our houses, or our cars, or ourselves, or our children. And so, understandably, so we might try and remove them. But dead trees make up a huge part of the habitat for kestrels and screech owls. So, one thing that this is actually doing, we are involved in the American Kestrel Project, and folks who live, I forget what the radius is, but if you have a property that is potentially suitable for American Kestrel habitat, you can apply at VINS on vinsweb.org to post a kestrel nest box on your property, and then that means that a researcher will come on out every once in a while and band the kestrels on their ankles so we can track them and see how they do, where they decide to go, where they decide to build their own nests. So that's something that folks around VINS can help out kestrels. Yes, you have a question, my friend. Are kestrels harmless or harmful to humans? we are. So I have a little kestrel friend, called an nest there. So they do a lot of really cool things to help out. Something with kestrels that is true for them and not other birds is they are sexually dimorphic, which means that the males and females look different from each other. Each male kestrel, you can tell because his feathers are bluish on the wings and on his head. A female kestrel looks more like this one, with brown on its wings. All right, we're just about at the end of our time, but if you guys have any additional questions that I didn't get a chance to answer, yeah. Yes, I will need, there was a snowy owl wing, a snowy owl talon, you see it over here, and a red-tailed hawk wing and talon that will need to make their way back to me at some point. I have one wing, and we have another wing over here, so you have a talon. Where is the last snowy owl talon? Thank you, my friend. All right, I see you guys have a couple more questions. If you guys want to see these things up close and you get a chance to, you guys are free to come on up. Just make sure before you do, please don't touch or lean on the crates. This is their safe space. We don't want to disturb them after their home. But you guys are welcome to see these things up close. And I can pass it on over to David. Thank you guys so much for coming on out.
Stick around for a little while.